Hello, good day. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about Bootstrap. When we're talking about Bootstrap, this is a combination of libraries and classes that we can actually use to arrange the way the content on our website will always look like. So with Bootstrap, it makes it easy to arrange our documents, and with Bootstrap you will not be writing a lot of CSS codes. So Bootstrap is a combination of CSS and jQuery elements, so they are now combined into classes. So that is just basic meaning of what Bootstrap is doing for us. So now let's get started. For you to be able to run Bootstrap successfully, I'll be taking us Bootstrap 4. What we'll need first is that we'll need to download the jQuery library from their website. So let me just go to Google and say download jQuery. So I'll just click here, click on download. So after that, on this download button here, what I'll just do is that I'll right click it here. As you can see, to locally download these files, right click on the link and save as. So just click here, then you save link. Okay, come in. So we'll just click on save as, then we'll go to anywhere that we want to put our file. But for me here, so that everything can be inside a single document, I'm going to be creating a new folder called let's say Bootstrap. So inside that folder, then I'm going to be saving my jQuery code, and the one that we'll actually be needing is the minified version of the jQuery. That's why you see jQuery 3.7.1.min. it means minified. Then you are saving this as type JavaScript. So just click on save. So when I go to my desktop, Bootstrap, I'm coming, let me look for it. Bootstrap. Okay, this is the folder that I just created. So once I click it and open it, you can see that there is a JavaScript file inside. The next file that we will be needing is the next file that we'll be needing will be our actual Bootstrap 4. So just say download, okay, Bootstrap 4. So once I come here, you can see this the link to Bootstrap 4. So I just click on download. Then at the top right corner of the page, you see where you actually download it. So I click on download. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't take any time to download. It's just 2.1 MB, and you can see it's done already. So let me just come to my download folder here. Let me come to my download folder here. So let me just copy the zip file. It's actually a zip file. So I'm coming to the folder that we created, then I'm pasting it. Then let me extract all. Let me extract all. So we'll need to wait a little for our Bootstrap to be unzipped. Our file has been unzipped now. So the only two things that we'll need for us to use Bootstrap inside this Bootstrap 4 folder, as we can see, there are lots of elements that is there, but the only folder that we'll need is this, the dist, D-I-S-T. So just open it, then you see CSS folder and the JavaScript folder. We'll need a file from CSS and we'll also need a file from JavaScript. So let me open CSS. So as with the jQuery that we downloaded the minified version, and we'll also be needing the Bootstrap minified version too. So which is this? bootstrap.main bootstrap.main.css. Let's just copy it. Okay, this is the folder, then I'll paste it here. So that the reason I'm doing this is that I don't want to be nexting folder when I'm linking it inside my code. So that is why I'm trying to put it on the same level as the file that I am going to be creating. So now we have the bootstrap main.css and we have the jQuery main.js. So inside that folder, the dist, so we'll now come to the JavaScript folder. Then we'll see bootstrap main.js too. Let me come here and copy it. Then I'm going to be pasting it here. Then do we still need this? Let me just delete. Okay, we can actually leave it there as we are not making any reference to it, but in your own case you might just delete it. But now I've gotten my 3 files. These are the files that we'll be using when we are dealing with Bootstrap. So now let me come to my code editor now, then create a file inside that folder that we have created, Bootstrap. Let me look for it. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to be creating a file called, let's say, display.html. So let me just save it. Fine, we have a HTML file. So with this, let me close this. Okay, now we have, let me delete these two unzip file so that everything can look very clean. So we now have 4 files that we'll be working with. This is our HTML page that will be linking all these 3: the bootstrap.main, the CSS, the bootstrap.main.js, and the jQuery.main.js. So now let's get started with the work. Let's create an HTML template here. So let's call it intro, the title intro to Bootstrap. Okay, so now the next thing for us to actually do right now is to link our CSS. We'll link the CSS at the top, while we'll link the JavaScript file at the bottom, so that the JavaScript file can actually load when the whole body has been completed. So now we link our CSS. So we create a link tag, and this will be the link to one of these. So which is this? The bootstrap.main.css. Let me just copy the name. Let me click on it and copy the name. Then I'm going to be pasting it here, bootstrap main. So then I'll now put the CSS here. So that's the only thing that I just need to link here. So then I'm going to be creating a JavaScript file too. So then I'll be needing the source parameter. So now it's going to be bootstrap.main.js. Then before that, I'll be interested in linking jQuery first, because jQuery is a prerequisite for Bootstrap. So that is why you have to link jQuery first before you link your Bootstrap. So now let me copy the name of this jQuery file here. So I'm going to be putting it like this. Then it will not be .js, it will be .js. So these are the 3 files that we'll be needing, and how we can actually link them. So now, how do we know that our Bootstrap is now working? Let me just create an HTML element, and let me use Bootstrap to actually style it. So I can just say class. This is how you do it inside Bootstrap. You just say class, because all the CSS, all the jQuery elements and libraries have been loaded, like it has been like they have used the class to build an interface for them, so that you can write less code instead of you just going and saying okay, border color, all these CSS properties, and writing them manually. Bootstrap has actually limits the work for you. So all you need is just to know some few classes, then you are good to go. So now I can just say text success. Success actually means green. Danger means danger is equals to red. Success is equals to green. Primary is equals to light blue. So those colors are actually like that. Those are the ones that I can remember for now. But now let's just put it this way. Let's just say text success. Then I want to say okay, this is my first Bootstrap element. Okay, now let me save it, then come to my file here and load it inside the browser. Let me click on enter. Oh, why is it not working? So now success, or am I not spelling the success very well? Okay, now it seems is a typographical error. As you can see, instead of us just going to the style and saying okay, background color green, you can see that these two words have actually changed from color green to color black to color green. So that is how we can change and we can manipulate elements using Bootstrap. If I want to change the what property can I still change? Let me change it to text danger, so that you can actually see that danger is color red. You can see. So if I say text info, you can see it's another color now. If I say text primary, you can see this one is deep blue, while text info is light blue. So there are lots of things that you can do. Let me look for a property. So there are a lot of things that we can actually do. Now let's talk about another thing that we can use Bootstrap to do. One of the most amazing thing about Bootstrap is not about color manipulation. No, that's not the main importance of Bootstrap. The main importance of the Bootstrap is the grid, grid system, because with their grid system you can arrange how your elements will look like. For example, now this page that I am right now, as far as Bootstrap is concerned, it is divided into 12. Let me just open my Microsoft Word so that I can be using it to explain. So now just consider it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, just consider it your page as 12 grid. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So it is like a 12 grid system. So that is how Bootstrap will see your page. So now let me just try and bring in something with Bootstrap. Okay, let's say this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So now you can decide that okay, your elements you want to put it at number 5. So it is part of you arranging how your elements will be. So now Bootstrap also allows you to set how different elements will display on different devices. But one thing is that you have to note that by default Bootstrap is designing for the mobile view first, followed by, like, I'm just talking about the small screen, then to the medium screens, to the large screens. So you are the one that is going to determine how those elements are going to appear on small screens like the mobile phone, the medium screens like the tablet, and the large screens like the computer screens, your TV screens. So now there are a lot of things that you are going to be taking into consideration. So when we are talking about the screen sizes that we have inside Bootstrap, we have the XS. Let me just increase my font size a little. We have the XS. So XS means that extra small. So we have the SM, this is small. We have the MD, which the medium size of our screen. Then we have the LG, we have the large screen. So these are the major screen sizes that we have when we are using Bootstrap. So we can just decide that okay, when my website or my app want to run on the large screen sizes, instead of like these 12 columns, now I want element A to occupy 4 of those columns. I want element B to occupy 3 of those columns. Let me just bring in an example. So now let me just put it like this. You can see that if we use our ruler here, you can see that these 3 and these 12 that is above here, they are starting on the same line and also likewise ending on the same line too. They are also ending on the same line, you can see. But these 3 columns here, they are just wide, while these ones are smaller, but they are still occupying the same space. But one thing is that you can decide that okay, when I'm on medium screen, I want elements to arrange like this: 1, 2, 3. We are still working with 12 elements right here. I'm just trying to bring in example. So here we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, we have 7, 8, 9, we have 10, we have 11, and we have 12. You can see that we still have our 12 elements here, but we are arranging it 3 on a line. We are arranging 3, 1, 2, 3. After that you break it, 4, 5, 6. After that you break it, because you cannot just leave elements as they are. You have to put some styling, some arrangements. Okay, people that are using my websites on the phone, okay, you want to actually give them some user experience and every other functionality that you want like that. But now with Bootstrap you can arrange it, you can arrange them. So you can just be like okay, when you get to the large screen sizes, when you get to the small screen size, you want your elements to be arranged 2 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. You can see that we still have that same element on the same page, but with different arrangements. So this one is 3, 3, 3, 3 and this one is 2, 2, 2. So you can still say that, okay, when the screen is extra small, so you want you want a single element per page. You can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10, 11 and 12. So it depends on the kind of arrangement that you actually want for your elements. So now this is just giving us a background of what we actually want to design and what we actually want to achieve. So now let's get to the coding work. So now let me just erase what I've actually done here to our browser. Let me refresh. So now one thing that you just need to do is that you will need to create a div with the class of container, container fluid, so that our elements can take over the whole full screen of our device. So now let's just create another div. That one will take care of div class of row. Just consider 1, 2, 3 here as a row, this as a row. So you need rows and columns. So this is what we are actually developing here. So you just say div, we have a row, so inside the row we will always have a column. So now we say div class. So now this is where you will be manipulating the elements. This is where you just, number one, okay, let me just create inside div class code. So let me just create an h1 element. Let me create an h1 element. Okay, let's say this is column 1. So let me create like 6. So let's say this is column 6, this is column 5, this is column 4, this is column 3 and column 2. So let me refresh. You can see that they are actually there now. On a normal day, an h1 element is a block level element, which means that they cannot be arranged side by side based on what we have actually learned in the previous classes. But here, with the help of Bootstrap, they are arranging side by side. So what we'll do here is that instead of having all these column, okay, now I want to show you the different. There is a wrapper that contain, like we have container and we have container fluid. As you can see, container fluid is starting almost at the edge of our screen here. But if I use ordinary container here, it is going to put some padding at both sides of the screen. So it depends on what we actually want to develop. Some people prefer ordinary container, while some people prefer container fluid. It depends on the kind of experience that you want the people that are using your software to be getting. So now, but in our own case, I'm going to be switching to container fluid back. You can see the arrangement, like the padding here is not much like that of ordinary container. So now we have a row here. This row means that, okay, we are generating a single row here. Then this column means that you can see that this column, they are all inside this row. You can see that the div ends here. So now the column are inside the rows. So now this column, now this is where the actual work begins. So when you are dealing with large screen sizes, you want this column, you want to make some changes on it on the large screen size. So you can just say colon LG. I want this particular column, the element that is inside this is this H1 element. So this column, I want it to occupy, as I've already said before, these are 12 grid. So which means automatically this is column 1 occupies 2, column 2 occupy 2 here, 3 occupy 2, 4 occupy 2. So at the end of the day, if we multiply this 6 by 2, it's going to give us 12. So now let me just create something. Let me create an extra column for you to see whether it will still accept it or not. So come in. So let's say this is column 7. It's still accepting it because we have not actually set how the elements, like the number of widths that we want the element to contain. This is what I'm actually saying. So we say colon LG, I want this to occupy 2. This colon LG, I want this one to occupy 2. Colon LG 2, LG 2, LG 2, LG 2, LG 2. So now let's see. You can see that after creating all these two, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the number 6 is the 12. So on the column 7, we have already used the maximum of that row. So that is why column 7 is wrapping on the next line. But it is still within that row. It is still within that, and it is still within that row. But the first line cannot contain it. That's why it is squeezing on the second line. So instead of us even having an evenly created column like this, instead of us having like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, we can actually use different sizes that we want. We can say, okay, this column 1, I just want it to occupy one of those 12. Column 2, I want you to occupy 3. So let's refresh and see. I'm coming. Looking for, okay, now I think it's because I'm operating on 100% zoom level, so that's why there is something like this. You can see that this is just one. You can see that column 2, the space of column 2 has already increased. You can see from here to here. So that's meaning that it is actually occupying 3/12, while column 1 is occupying 1/12. You can see that the space for column 3 is not as wide as the space on column 2 here. So that is a big example of how the grid system looks like. So you determine the kind of space that you want to occupy with your grid. So now, instead of us just using this kind of example, let's actually use a box system so that we can use it to make more example, a meaningful example. So now let's just delete all this, then back to here. We don't have anything here except we have a row, and we have a class of container fluid. So now I'm going to be creating a div here, and I'll be calling it class of column. And on the large screen size, I want it to occupy 4. So now let me just create another class for it, or let me use id so that you can actually understand. Let me use id colon. So I want to style this so that the css that I'll be using won't be much. So I want to style it. I'm using normal css now, I'm not using Bootstrap. So I can just say hashtag colon. So I'm just going to set the width to 200 pixel, height 200 pixel. So I think this is still cool. So here now I want to be changing the color individually. I don't want it to affect all elements. Okay, let me just style it here too. Okay, let me call this call 1. So I'm just trying to give it two names. It can be a column and it can be a column 1. So let me just say hashtag column 1. I want the background color. I want the background color to be red. Okay, let's view it. Oh, why is it not appearing? Okay. Coming. Okay, let me style it here. Let me put the style here. Style background color red. Background color red. It's actually appearing, but I guess the width and height property that we are adding did not match it. Let me try and figure out where the error is. Okay, now let me just remove this colon 1. Let's see what will happen. Okay, now yes, I guess we are back now. So this is the column that we have created. So now I'm going to be duplicating this, like let's say 3 times, because we are working with 2, 3. The colors are different. So now let's call this color green, and let's say this one is color blue. Okay, so this is example of what I'm actually saying. So inside each box you can have anything, any elements that you want. So you can put this here. So it depends on the kind of arrangement that you want. Now, so on the, let's just assume this is a normal website. So on the large screen size, this is what I've actually set there. Okay, the red column should occupy 4, the green should occupy 4, and the blue should occupy 4. Everything is now totaling to 12. So now I might even have different sizes of them, so far that they are still 12. Every one of them will remain on the same line. I might say this, I might say the red should occupy 2. I can say this one should occupy 6, making 12. Then this should occupy the remaining 4. So everything is still 12. You can see the red part has shrinked a little. So now let me just create another column here, so that it will look, I want 4 columns here. Let me call this color yellow. You can see that this is 2, this is 6, and this is 4. Everything is totaling to 12, but this yellow is additional. That's why it is not on the same line as them. So for us to put it on the same line, we have to take into account of this yellow box too. So what we'll do here is that we can just reduce this to 4 and add 2 here, so which is 4 plus 2 6, 10 plus 2 12. So now let's see, yellow now is now appearing on the same line. Just note that if we need another row under it, we just need to create another div class of row. We just need to create another div class of row. So it is going to create another one for us. Okay, let me just copy it. If we need a new row, you can see that it is the row that I copied. So here now I copied a new row here. So now you can see that they are actually, it's because it's the same color, that is why it is looking as if they have been expanded. So here now what I'm going to do is that, let me just delete the new row that I created to come back here. So now what I'm actually doing here is that I want this. So now let's just arrange it on another display. So now let me just shrink the display a little. You can see that it is still maintaining the same number of contents on the same line. So how do I want to make it appear on the medium screen sizes? So what I will just do here is that I'm just going to, inside our class here, I'm just going to say colon md. So what number of colon, how do I want to arrange my elements on the medium screen size? I want it to be 2 2. How do I make it 2 2? I want it to be 2 2 on a row. So I can just say this one I want it to occupy 6 on the small screen size, on the medium screen size. So let me just come to the second element here and paste it. Okay. So now everything will occupy 6. This will occupy 6, the next one will occupy 6, the third one will float to the next line, and that's how it's going to arrange them. So now let's try and move to the medium screen size. Let's see how it's going to arrange our element. You can see now when we get to the medium screen size, it turned these elements, it turned them to 2 by 2 matrix. So now we can still determine that, okay, when we get to the small screen size, just know that the method, that the formula that you'll be using is the colon. Just type the colon, then the dash, then the screen size that you are working with. So let's say SM, then you want it to occupy 12. Like what I'm talking about the 12 is that every element will appear like a single element on a single line. So that is what I actually want to achieve here. So here now I'm going to be pasting it for all elements that I've created. So let me save it, then come back here. So now let me go back to the last screen size. You can see everything is on a single page. So I'm moving towards the medium screen sizes. You can see. Then let me move to the small screen size. You can see now every element, they are stacked on top of each other. So this is how you what this actually means, that there are some websites that when you view it on the computer, it's going to appear somehow, and when you display it on the phone, it's going to appear in another way. So that is how to achieve that. So there are some times that you also want to rearrange the elements. So what I mean by rearranging the elements is that, okay, now you don't want this to actually, you want to pull out some elements out of the flow like this. So what you do is that, so let's say on the small screen size, now let me move to the small screen size. I want to use this red block here. So let me say this element here, the red, I'm going to use 4 for it. I'm going to use 4. You can see that it is not occupying the full line as the rest of the elements. What is making the green not to appear on the same line as the red is that the green has been tagged as 12. So there is nothing to complete it on the same line as red. That's why it is occupying fully on the next line here. So now there are some things that we just need to do is that, okay, now let's say we want to move this red box, we want to move it to the middle. How do we achieve that? The only thing that we just need to do is that we'll use the offset. So we use the offset to rearrange, to move the elements. So we just need to say offset. So at what screen size do we want the offset to appear? We just say SM. So out of the 12, we want to move it, want the offset to be around like 5. Offset means that the number of columns that you want to leave blank before actually starting that element. So that is what offset means. So let me just put it like this. So now let's just assume that you want to center this red block here. So you can actually create it like this. Since at small screen size you are only occupying 4, if 4 is the element, so just know that if we put the offset as 4 here and the elements, if we put the offset as 4 here and the element is 4, it will be at the center. Then the remaining white space will also be 4, since Bootstrap is telling us that the full line must be of 12. So now let me just reduce this to 4. Then we can see that the elements has actually been centered. So it depends on what you want to achieve. It depends. So let's just say you have a page like this. Okay, it's actually affecting the remaining elements at the other what's it called, at the other screen sizes. So what actually happened is that as I've already said earlier, that we were designing for the small screen sizes first. So that is why it is affecting the other displays. So notwithstanding, we can still revert to what we are actually designing before, so that we can still follow our normal document flow. So now let me just reduce this offset. So we should just note that this is just for tutorial sake. It's not something that we can actually do a lot when we are designing the software. So what we can do here is that okay, let me just put it back. Let me put it back so that there are other things that we can do. There are other things that we can do here. So let's say we want to change the arrangement of how these elements are. We want to change the arrangement. We want the yellow to be the first one here and the green to be the last one here. So there is a way of arranging the pattern of the elements that we have on the screen. So let's just say yeah, at the large screen size I want the order, then at the large screen size I want it to be, as we can see, it is 4 elements here. I want it to be of order 4. You can see what's the next one? Yeah, let me just copy. I want this to be of order 3. You can see. So everything just depends on what you want to achieve. And if I move to another screen size, you see that they will maintain their previous colors, their previous positions here. So you can say the red is the first, then followed by green, blue and yellow. But with at the large screen size, I have actually altered how the elements are appearing. So now let's say we want to build a website now. So let me just put this as a normal project now. So let's say the first row here we have 4 columns. Just know that you can put anything inside your column. So you can create form. You can create a form. So let's say input type text. So you can say label equals to first name. So yeah, is inside that div. Let me just separate it a little. Let me separate them. So this is it. This is the div with colon then that we have ordered. So you can see that the form is only appearing under that red block. So I can still say the last name. You can say the last name. Then I can put input type submit. So you can see everything is appearing under the red. So it is a way of structuring your code or your website. So now just look at the page now. It is not a must that you use this color. I'm just putting the colors so that you can actually see where the elements are starting and where the elements are ending, just to prove to you how the 12-column grid system of Bootstrap works. So now inside the green place, let's say you might want to put text there. You might want to put series of h1s inside it. So let me just come here and create a series of h1 elements. So just say h1. Okay, this is h1. So let me put h2 here. This is h2. So now you can see that it is only appearing inside that green element. So it is just like you categorizing how your data will look inside the application that you are creating. So here let's just assume that let's just assume that on the third one here we want to put a series of paragraphs there. Then let me type anything there. You will see that it is not actually it is not disturbing what is inside the previous 2 boxes. You can see we have 3 boxes here with different content. Then they are appearing on different places on the screen. So now let me now move towards another set. You can see that they are not mixing with themselves. Even at the medium screen size, even at the small screen size, you can see that all the elements that I have created inside them, they still maintain their position. They don't overflow to another place. So now let's just assume that okay, you want your website to appear like at the middle. Just calculate the offset that you are going to be using on the both side and how you want your elements to appear. Let me just try and achieve that. So now I want to create a new div with the class of row. Then inside this row I want a colon, just a single colon, a div with the class of colon, with class colon, with class of colon coming with the class of colon at the large screen size. The large screen size, I want it to cover 6. So now, and I want it to take the property of this style that I've used there, hashtag colon, that I've created earlier. So I'm just going to add a new parameter here, then I say colon, then I can put the background color, the style, then I'll say the background color, I want it to be cyan. So you can see it's actually appearing very well here, because I said at the colon, at the large screen size, I want it to just occupy half. You can see, as I've said, it's occupying half, but I want it to appear at the center. So what do you think I'll do here? I'll just put an offset. I'll put an offset of an offset at the last screen size. I want an offset of 3. So it is going to generate 3 space here. So then occupy the 6 that I've designed it to be. Then the last 3 space will be at the end. So now let me just, you can see now that it is actually appearing at the center of the document. So that is how you put centering into what you are actually designing. So let's say I want it to be 10, then I want offset of 1. You see what it will do like this. So it depends on what you actually want to achieve. So now what can we do again? Let's come to the medium screen size. At the medium screen size, it is not appearing that same way. So this is the medium screen size and this is the small screen size. So now at the medium screen size, what we'll do is that, okay, colon MD. So we still want it to maintain the middle, like we want to still center it as we have done on the last screen size. Okay, occupy 10, then the offset at the MD, we want it to be 1 2. So you see that is the same way. If we want the elements to be the same on the small screen size, the medium screen size, or the large screen size, it doesn't take us anything than just to specify that same property for the 3 screen sizes. You can see that when we get to the medium screen size, it is still doing the same way, but on the small screen size, it is not appearing like that. So what we'll just do is that we just say colon SM, we say 10, and the offset, so we say SM1. So you can see we have the same type of display for the, and we have the same arrangements for the same elements on the 3 type of displays that we have. But the first row here, they are still changing based on the screen size, but the second row that contains only this cyan element does not change. So that is just how the Bootstrap grid system works. So thank you for watching.